Oh, okay, it seemed to work. Yeah, I guess now it picks up the audio. Does it work, Mikołaj? I don't know. Does it? Because it shows that it does. I have no idea why, but as always, there were some problems, and now it decided to turn off the entire audio for the entire thing. So yeah, I'm glad you picked that up because otherwise I will be talking to, well, no. I will be talking to an empty microphone, or however to say it. But as I was saying, I am redoing this guy and I want to kinda approach him a little bit differently. Nice. I want to approach him a little bit differently with a little bit more sketching. And in this case, when the training program I have in my workplace, Sasha Belyaev showed me some tricks how to improve on the sketch and how to like improve the general atmosphere of it and how to push a storytelling. Hello, Pratik Shankar. And that sounds nice. How to improve the storytelling in this one by adding some different elements, and just showed me the entire process. Like, I mean, not the entire process, but some tricks and tips how to generally like improve on it, and how to, for example, search for interesting graphic shapes with the shadows when I have obvious stuff like the hand just pointing forward and whatnot. So from now on, I think I will not touch the goblin at the moment, but I will rework him later, so the entire image will be a little bit better, especially since basically this like simple sketch fixed all the problems that I had with the goblin, mostly regarding the composition. So it's not like just standing there and being boring and just like not doing anything, basically having no storytelling whatsoever behind him, but to actually push it to the illustration where I can show some of his character and some of the situations, while it still works as the like splash image for the creature in the vibe of Heroes of Might and Magic. And this is also the problem with the troll, because like right now nothing is pretty much happening around him. Like, he just carries a rock, but I could add some like white rocks around him, so he is searching for the rock and stuff like this. So I will rework all the previous creatures later, but now I wanted to, and same with the Cyclops, I need to add something behind him. But to, so yeah, I need to fix this one. But not continue on those. I wanted to work on the giant, so I will need to pretty much slightly redesign him with a little bit more sketching and with a little bit better idea. So the way Sasha, also if anyone does not know what Sasha does, I highly suggest you to Sasha to look at his stuff. It's, I believe, Belyaev. Yeah, I guess this is how you write it. On our station and everything, he also, not he, but the company I work with also sells the tutorials with that Sasha did, and yeah, I just recommend them. They are cool. So yeah, worth watching. And this guy, I will be doing a little bit more in a sketchy manner and with more black and white, because I want to focus slightly more on the general graphic shapes instead of on focusing on the details. So I think more sketching will be done today, and I want everything to be a little bit more loose. So with this guy, let me only check where he, in Heroes of Might and Magic, what is his place where you can buy him. One Ogre, I believe. What was the building of his? So it might give me, okay, like those. I absolutely forgot about those, but if you are going to purchase this guy, whoops, he does live in a hut like this. So yeah, basically some sort of a structure that does not provide a lot of info. But to continue on this guy, I want to first start on blocking big masses and big shapes. So I don't want to get into unnecessary details, but I kind of want to show a little bit more of the character of this guy. So I kind of want him to be a little bit cocky and a little bit, and to show that he is like really strong. So I guess the pose that I had is relatively okay, but it's a little bit too basic and a little bit nothing is happening in there. So he might be a bit more cocky by actually holding the baseball bat in a bit more loose manner. So he's not really like squeezing it that hard, but he is just like gently placing it over his shoulder, and he is just like resting it on it. The second arm could basically just go and support his hip, because if this guy is like really heavy or is just like really fat, because those type of a character could be quite fat, I can imagine him supporting a bit of his weight onto his hip. Actually does make quite a lot of sense. And with the poses like this, I can imagine if he is standing, he is just like crushing something with one of his legs. And because he is huge, I want him to like fill the canvas nicely. I don't want him to be like tiny and to give him like a lot of space on the sides. I kind of want him to dominate the entire canvas. So when he is actually like standing here, and I was also thinking about maybe making his legs a bit shorter, so his entire like body will be looking slightly off balance, so he could have like more massive chest, more massive stomach, more massive upper body basically, and all of his limbs will just be tad shorter. Because in this case he does not need to have like a human proportions. He can be a little bit more exaggerated here and there. And for the muscles in general, I don't want him to be like shredded. I kind of want him to be a little bit more like an elephant in terms of like all the features that he has. So, whoops. So there will be like a splash of the muscles visible. And the PC is working really slow today. I think I will need to give it a good clean later. It's going slow as hell. Yeah. To give him something like this. And this leg here, like this leg go outward. And this leg can pretty much go almost to the side. Yeah, but the muscles, I don't want them to be like super visible. I want there to just be a hint for the muscles, but generally the thick skin and the fat layer will obscure the shreddiness of this guy. So he definitely is not like the shredded type of a creature. And the design won't change that much. I kind of like the design, the sketch that I did previously. So yeah, I want to keep it more or less. So yeah, this is this. And I think I will try to approach the rest of the characters in a similar manner, because it's true that I absolutely forgot about the storytelling part, and it's just as important. So, and now what he can crush with his leg. The rock is a bit an obvious idea, and it will kind of fit the other creatures. It would also fit if he would just like lay on some sort of an animal, like to hold it. But I also don't think this guy is like a hunter type. He's more like he's defending the city, so you need to bring food to him, and then he will do his job just right. Because being like this fat, I don't think he has the speed to him. Most likely he is just like a more stationary type of a unit that will defend everything around there. Oh yeah. And for the environment, adding rocks is a bit obvious in this case, but it might work just nice. But I also would like to introduce some light. And flipping canvas today will be a pain in the ass. Usually it works almost immediately. I don't know if there was an update or whatever in Photoshop. I guess there might have been, because this is taking forever. Let me turn off Discord and everything that I might not need at the given moment. Maybe it will speed up. Yeah, it did sped up. Yeah, so Discord turns out takes a lot of resources, but yeah, feel free to ask anything. The more questions that are not even related to art, the better, because then I don't have to brainstorm while painting, and it's easier to pick up a theme to just talk about something. So yeah, feel free to ask whatever interests you. In the background behind this guy, definitely a huge cloud will do great to separate the character. And in this case, the background can be a bit lower, so he will feel even bigger on the entire thing. And right now, of course, I'm working in black and white. In the colors, I will later adjust all the hues and everything accordingly, but now I just don't want to focus on the colors. But because I also have in here selected current and below, as you can't see, but you can select all layers and you can select current and below or whatever, it will still color pick the colors that are underneath it, because I am painting in a preview mode. To turn this off, you just go to view, proof setup, and you can see it again. Let me turn on display capture. View, proof setup, and custom, and in here you go to gray gamma 2.2, because this will make you a preview of a black and white piece. And for the question, how long have you been painting, like taking cars seriously as a career? I started a really long time ago. By really long time ago, I mean when I was like about 12 or something like this. When I consciously started to like learn art, but not really like doing a lot of art, just like trying here and there, trying graphic design stuff and everything. So I would say it's like 15 years of just doing stuff. When I was in high school, I decided to enroll to first courses that were kind of dog shit, but I was around 14 or 14 at that point. And then I was learning for two years in like a school in Warsaw. And then I knew I wanted to do this for like a living when I was around 16 or 17, something like this, along those lines. But I wanted to study architecture first, because I just wanted to have some sort of a, let's say, base to start off doing everything. So I thought architecture is like a good idea to start with. But when I enrolled to the architecture courses at the University of Technology, I really quickly discovered it's not really for me. And then I went to the Academy of Fine Arts, but to study industrial design. And I was there from 2014 or 13 to 19. So 5 years studying design, and for the past 2 years I have been doing like the freelance full-time, but taking it as a career, I would say, I don't know, 7 years, 6 years, something like that, but painting for much longer. It's hard to say. Yeah, this one might have your face, Michał. Actually, Michał had really similar body type like this guy. Now he does not. Now he is almost shredded, but he used to look like almost like this guy. So yeah. The flipping canvas horizontal will be painful. Just do this all the time. So yeah, quite a lot of time. I mean I'm working in the field for like full time, you can say 2 years, because previously I was only doing freelance while studying. So yeah. And I couldn't fully commit to it due to the studies and yeah, and everything. But I don't think I wasted any time. I do believe the time I spent studying was really worth it. So yeah, I don't want him to be as fat. I kind of want him to have some anatomy here and there. But I definitely want him to have this like beer boiler type of a thing. I don't think you're gonna have a slim figure. You're just like bulky. With the Mongolian blood in you, I don't think it's possible. Yeah. Yeah, I plan to go to the Promised Land. It's really cool that they are doing it again, finally. Because, yeah, it's just a nice place. And I hope this year they will also give nice t-shirts and everything, so. Also, in this case, with this guy, what I am planning to do is to have the light kinda like from the side. So the light will be like in here. Of course, there will be some like reflected light, but the main light source I want to be slightly more from the right side. So the arm and the mace can actually cast some sort of a like cool looking shadow onto him to help me with rendering, to help me to make him interesting. So usually it's a kind of good idea to have this like orb with at least a basic light setup near the thing that you are doing. So it will be kind of like this. Honestly, I think it's really good to know anatomy well, but do not go crazy with it. Too crazy with it. I was really always stressing out too much about the anatomy, and I always tried to make it a little bit too perfect. And because of this, I just really slowed down my progress with all the characters. It's not the anatomy that is important, it's more of the shapes that are important. So if you know the general shape of the muscles, it's okay. If you are using the references, it's just good to have a general idea what muscle is what. So for example, if you go with a forearm, usually it's something around this, and you just need to be able to like rotate it in a space, like in different angles. And most likely 99% of the forearms look like this, and then you just add some like tendons and everything, and it's okay. I would say it won't hurt to learn anatomy, but honestly, from like my experience, don't stress too much over it. So rough knowledge is definitely enough, but it's something that should be honed. So for example, in this case, I have the general idea what is where, what muscles are where, how they should more or less look like. But when the time comes to refine everything, I definitely will pick up a lot of references just to be sure. And yeah, I usually the more the references you have, the better the painting will be. Oh yeah, the Promised Land is really cool. The city it's in is kinda sucks. Like, it's the ugliest city I have ever been in, and I mean it. It's just like straight up ugly. There are some places that are nice, but generally speaking, I absolutely didn't enjoy the city. It felt boring and dead and just like really unwelcoming. But the place where the festival is great. It's really cool. It's an old factory. So yeah, it's definitely worth checking. Also with the anatomy, try when you are drawing, try to look at the masses, the general masses. Not don't like try to understand every single muscle that there is, like that factually is there. Just try to understand the shapes, and it's much better and faster approach. Especially since 99% of the things most likely that you will do will have an armor on it. So if something has an armor on it, then you don't really have to stress that much about the anatomy, but you still will be able to do it just fine. Maybe this stomach a bit more here and there. This delt is definitely way too big. It should be a little bit more flat. But there will be traps, so at first I want to draw him without any clothing, and later I want to add some clothing to him. All the brushes that I have are downloaded from brush. Well, I can't see what I'm writing. Digital brushes, tumblr.com. So in here you have pretty much everything that you might ever need. I just collected the thing that I have. I was collecting it for like years and years and just testing different brushes and whatnot. And yeah, and after many years, this is like the pack that I came up with, and I have been using it ever since. And usually it's like 5 brushes that I use most of the time. There are some brushes that I really like, there are some that I really don't like. But yeah, generally speaking, you just need to experiment a lot of those with those. I started to record a video about the brushes, but I can't finish it. I'm just trying and can't find, not even find time. I can just bring myself to like sit down on my ass and to edit everything and whatnot. Because I have quite a lot of other stuff to do right now, but yeah. Where do I want this guy to look? Yeah, I kind of want him to look to the left. I might make him look to the right, but it's a bit boring. I kind of feel like him looking up and forward is a little bit more interesting. So definitely the plan for today is to just like make the sketch. Later I will draw it because I just enjoy drawing those. So yeah. The general idea is to have a sketch ready. And I want this guy to have like a massive beard and massive facial hair. He's supposed to be hairy as hell. And also his maze, previously I made it like just a casual maze, just like a boring shape, like rhomboidal shape. I kind of feel it deserves a bit more. It can look like it's like wrapped with some stuff, and it's really not that even and everything. Yeah, and especially since for a really long time I have not been recording any videos other than doing the live streams, and I really forgot how to like speak quickly on a camera. This is definitely a huge factor, and I just tend to like get really lost while talking, while recording something, because I usually prefer to like record and show stuff at the same time, so I can like limit the editing process to the maximum. That I don't have to like re-record the audio and everything, but I just simply forgot how to do it efficiently. And yeah, I will just need to, on the flip canvas horizontal, I will just need to work on it a bit more. A matter of practice. I forgot to practice, and here it is. Now I forgot how to talk while recording the videos, which is kind of funny because I don't really have a lot of problems with talking and drawing like right now, but recording and talking is much harder somehow because of some reasons. I might find a reference for something. Yeah. Pause. Nice. Yeah, I might need to start taking my own reference photos finally. That I do need and that I would use. Because searching for references is just pain in the ass, so. I want this guy to have some sort of a like rope tied around his bicep, because why not? He is an ogre after all. Some sort of a bracelet on the forearm, or maybe like the armor that he used to have. Definitely I will need a lot of references for this area. So he can have something in here. I wanted him to have studded leather, so it will look like this. And also right now I'm not really focusing that much on a light. I want to have the general idea of what I want to achieve, but before I draw it, then I will try to refine everything as it's supposed to be. I never searched for work in this case. I was lucky enough to have a steady stream of freelance work while I was actually studying, and because I was studying, I couldn't tackle a lot of tasks. So even if I had like 2 or 3 commissions per month, it was more than enough for me to do. And also meanwhile I was teaching at an art school, so it was kind of at some point like my basic income, and it was more than enough to fill my like student type of needs, because I'm not really living an extremely expensive life. And Some projects I just decided to help because I just liked those projects, and it turns out the guy that I helped this project with was able to pay me for some of them. Not like a crazy amount of money, but always something that was really nice and it was really helpful. And yeah, after some time, just like posting stuff, some people just wanted some sort of a cover. This guy wanted this, that guy wanted that, and yeah, it just like naturally happened that I started to get commissions. Mm. Oh, I found the reference. And this is nice because this is actually a 3D model, but it does have some qualities that I wanted to have with this guy. So yeah. I was studying industrial design at Academy of Fine Arts. So it's basically like a design, I would say. They don't call it industrial anymore, but it's more like a problem. So it's product design in a sense. So like the kind of backup plan was to become a product designer because I also find it interesting, like the entire process and everything is just cool. I just enjoy it. And those depends on the year, but it took me 5 years to finish. I dropped off the architecture studying after like half a year. It turns out too much math for my liking. But the industrial design was extremely cool. And it depends, but I can easily say it was around 10 hours per day. One, because we had classes, two, because we had to do some projects and everything, and because usually we were staying after the classes to get some additional like lectures and everything with friends of mine that I still have contact with, that I still like spend time with, which is also cool and great. I can easily say it was around 10 hours, but it happened that, for example, we started the day at 8 a.m. like in the morning, and I was back home like after midnight because we were just like doing stuff there. So it was quite a lot. And in my spare time, I was drawing and painting. So for example, if I managed to do some sort of a project faster, and because I knew Photoshop quite well and I knew a lot of programs quite well, I could do a lot of tasks much faster, and the professors seemed to like me, so sometimes I had just it a bit easier, I think, and others friends were giving a lot of shit to me for this, because sometimes I would just come with nothing and turns out I was thinking correctly and I could proceed with the task where others couldn't. But I don't know, they used to call me a golden child because of it. It was painful, but yeah. And I can say like I try to draw as much as possible. I can't say it because I also used to go to the gym. I mean, I still do. Recently I restarted, but that's not the question. And on the weekends when I was like teaching how to draw, it actually was a great opportunity for me to also learn how to draw, because then I could like give a lecture, spend some time just doing my stuff, and when someone needed something, it also forced me to problem solve stuff that I hadn't encountered by myself. So it was also a great opportunity to learn, to just like try to teach people. So, but my typical year 1 to 3 was around, yeah, you can say 10 hours a day or something. I knew it is going to help me because it's kind of funny, because I always thought that Academy of Fine Arts is lame and only lame people go there, and I also always was like team architecture, team the University of Technology and everything. But when it turned out the University of Technology is kind of lame, I was like, okay, I will go to the Academy of Fine Arts because a friend of mine told me to go there. And yeah, it was the best decision in my life. Definitely would do it again. If there would be a possibility to now to restart the school and I won't have to worry about money and everything, 10 out of 10 times I would go to study again because it was just a great time. And I knew that I wanted to work in a field as a designer. I don't think the games and movies are like, let's say, the end goal of what I want to do, but it is my goal at the given moment. So, but the school pretty much prepared me to, I can easily say design everything. So if you give me a thing to design with better or worse results, I think I can start to design everything. It's just matter of like specialization and having a knowledge and having a proper research. By high school is Lyceum. Wait, I always remember mix those up. High school. Yeah, it's Lyceum. In Lyceum, I was in high school. Lyceum is Polish for high school. I was mostly doing my stuff. Also, I was helping in Domin in the school I used to learn in. I used to teach there then. And when I knew that I want to do it, keep painting on the wrong layer, I just spent my time like doing what I had to do and just doing my stuff. And chemistry classes I passed in a way that I was just like kind of drawing and not giving a lot of shit about it. I knew that my maturity exam, the math test and everything don't have to be perfect, so I did study for them, but since the Academy of Fine Arts don't really count the results of the maturity exams into the like if they are going to take you or not, I never really cared that much about those. So I was like a solid 3 to 4 out of 6 type of a student. So yeah. Hello, Christian Drag. What's the for concept art you told me last? Oh my god, I don't remember. Honestly, could you tell me what is supposed to be about? Because there are a lot of pages that I could recommend without hesitation, so I am not entirely sure which one you are thinking about, like what was supposed to be on it. Because honestly, I don't remember. Mm. Okay, so the pose is a bit more interesting than it used to be, like previously. And now I think I need to push the storytelling a bit more. So this like can be easily shorter and the feet will be obscured. Transport practice for 3D. Oh my god. I have a hole in my brain. I honestly don't remember the page that I could practice. I don't know. It could be a Sketchfab. This for and practice for 3D. You mean for 3D like you want to do 3D, or for 3D you want to draw from a 3D type of a thingies? I'm trying to think about something, but I feel like I have a hole in my brain right now. Just can't come up with anything at the given moment. Trying to think about some sort of a page, but nothing rings my bell. If you do remember more or less when I told you this, you might check the previous stream. Because honestly, I am absolutely not sure. Oh, and the shadow, yeah. So now the sun is a little bit more from the front, so the shadow for this guy will be... You mean the... Search for concept art and last... something rings my bell, but you mean ArtStation? It might have been ArtStation. It's just like a typical site to search for other concept arts and artworks. Ah, okay. Now I remember. Search for LGD school student work. Let me enlarge it. If you want to see how how to compose the sheets and everything, this is a great source of like knowledge. I don't know if it's this one, but now when you see the full sheet, concept art, characters, etc., this definitely is one of the best places to look at for the student work and for the teacher's work, for the lecturer's work, because those are just like professionally done and really good examples on how to present and how to show your designs. So for example, LGB school project. Let me open some sort of like image. The first one that I found. So for example, something like this. So yeah, the presentation board, maybe it's a little bit too much with the patterns and everything, but generally speaking, it is really okay. So yeah, for those type of stuff. Also, but also remember the artworks that you are viewing are from the students. Try to search for more advanced stuff on, for example, ArtStation, and for example, type a game that you like, and just look how professionals handle those tasks, because usually if the game is out, a lot of people will just upload their artwork. So yeah. Do you ever do portfolio reviews or feedback sessions here? Yeah, if you have anything that you would like to get a feedback on, just send me a link with the image and I can do it even now. If you want me to go through your portfolio, just same story. I will just check it beforehand if there is nothing that might get me banned or whatever. But usually there is nothing like this, so yeah. Easily. If you also have any questions related to anything, feel free to ask, because this way the stream is even a little bit more interesting for me. Because I like to paint and draw, but there's only as much as I can do, and to keep my like sanity on after like full day of working. I mean, not today, because today was a little bit more lazy day, but yeah. Do I like him looking there? No. Do I fancy him looking there like that? Yes. But also for the portfolio reviews, I just remember to take everything that I say with like a grain of salt, with a bit of grain of salt or whatever. I might know more about the topic than you, but I'm definitely not the best one to give all the advices there. So remember, this is just like my opinion, not like the ultimate truth. Yeah, feel free to show it. If there are like any things that I will see that you can easily improve, I don't see the reasons not to show. That really depends. That really depends on the day, but if there is like a full day of workload, so for example, there are a lot of tasks at work that needs to be done or the deadlines are close, I tend to work like for 8 hours, like minimum. So for example, those 8 hours can be stretched for like 14 hours. So I will work for 3 hours, then I will take a 2 hours break to, like, I don't know, do laundry or make some food. Then I will work for another 3 hours. Then I will take a break. Then I will work for another 3 hours. This will give 9 in total. But usually I stretch it over the entire day, because this way it just works better for me. Sitting 8 hours straight without any breaks is borderline impossible, but I also would feel bad if I would like overuse it, in a sense where I, for example, in an 8 hour work day, I would work for like 4 hours and, like, I don't know, just sit on the web for the another 4 until I work for 8 hours. I usually try to work those 8 hours. Of course, there are days where there is just not enough work to do. So sometimes it does happen that I work for like 2 hours or 3 because everything that I could do is done there. But if something like this happens, I usually practice then, like drawing, or just like do the chores and the stuff that I need to do anyway. So yeah. Also, if you want to, Pratik, if you want to send your stuff, just send me a link. I think maybe YouTube will work, but if the YouTube does not work, try on Twitch. So yeah, Twitch usually works flawlessly. YouTube don't really like links, so yeah. This is one of the rare occasions where I really like the face of this guy at this stage. I feel this might be the face I wanted to go with. He kind of looks like Eggman. I also might give him some braids, so he might have some dreadlocks and whatnot. Also, a cool tip: if you, for example, know that you will struggle with drawing the chest area or whatever, and you have a character like this, and you have to do it, but you just can't do it for some reason, use everything that you can to hide the areas that you can't do. So for example, in here, this area would be kind of annoying with all the flaps and loose skin and everything, but I can obscure it quite nicely with the long hair. So yeah, there's always a way to kind of not maybe avoid, but to hide the things that you have problems with. Of course, you should practice those and everything, but not always you will have time to practice everything that you want to do. So some muscle, like, thing is one of the things that I also notice with a lot of work that I do. I try to be a little bit too perfect with like the symmetry and everything. So I kind of want him to be a little bit like more uneven. Yeah, most likely, yeah, because but I will add those at the absolute end, because at this stage they will be definitely way too distracting for me to look at them like correctly. Because if I, for example, would have something like this, it would just distract the shit out of me. So all the graphic design, like the fine details, I will try to add at the absolute end of the work. So now the mind shapes and whatnot and small fixes. So yeah, I don't want to get caught up in the details. I do like this guy. And what is also cool when you are painting, not drawing, is much easier to, in my opinion, to work with the volume and to work with the object, because if you are drawing, you are kind of treating everything as a like 2D object a bit more, because it's much harder to do a 3D on a like 2D drawing. But if you are actually painting, it's a bit easier to imagine the volumes and everything, in my opinion. This hand is a little bit too big now, can easily be smaller. I kind of want to have this like spot in here. Just type a name and I will display it, because the links, the YouTube don't really like links, so this might be a reason. What is your name there? Pour myself some water this time. Water. Also remember to stay hydrated. Important. If you are dehydrated, your brain is also dehydrated, and then the thinking is much harder. So hydration is important. I mean, I can just type your name most likely. Pratik Sanghar Instagram. Let's see. Oh, there are 3 of those. One is empty and the second one has art, so I assume this is yours. Display capture. Yes, I can display capture. So this is this, right? This looks really cool. This guy. This is also really cool. Yeah, those definitely are cool. For board games, definitely enough. Board games, because the cards are usually much smaller and the artwork needed is not like that polished and refined and everything. Definitely, I would say it's okay. There are some issues with the proportions. For example, the arm is way too short compared to the rest of his body. If you stand up, the arm is roughly to the middle of a thigh, so there is that. The rest looks kinda okay. At this level, definitely I would use much more references, because the rim light don't really work that way, and try to not use that much grain and all the effects and everything, because in the long run it will be just problematic. I wouldn't say you are 100% ready for the freelance and everything, but I think some smaller commissions definitely you will be able to take. But if you want to also get some commissions, don't rely on Instagram only. Try to, for example, use ArtStation and just post there. Try to maybe do some sort of a project or whatever. So, for example, because those are like definitely the best out of those that you have. I don't know, decide to design 3 or 4 characters. Let's say 3, because 3 usually is better than 2 or 4. Design some sort of a prop, so I don't know, a hat, small environment for those, and yeah, make several illustrations about them, so you can have the whole package with everything. Because sometimes even stuff like this is enough for some games, for the pre-production and everything. So yeah, but just keep in mind, use references, because stuff like this, for example, the skull is really small compared to his head, and I assume he is human, so the skull should be a bit bigger. Of course, this can be a youngling skull, but yeah. But for example, stuff like this, like the hand on a stick, those might be a bit problematic. So yeah, I would say it's going into the right direction. And have I checked the GTFO, the game? I did check it, but I did not really go deep with it. I think I just saw some like images and everything, but I was not really reading a lot about it. But I will have this tab open, so now I will properly watch it. Well, yeah, using the mouse in Photoshop nowadays is just hard. Let me also check your ArtStation then. Pratik Panghar Station. Display capture. Yeah, so this is yours. So the thing is, try to be a little bit more try to be consistent with the stuff that you are posting. In a sense, if you have like 20 characters, kind of posting a graphic design won't make a lot of sense. So let me check this one. Okay, this is some sort of a concept, but for example, in this case, it does not really show that you designed anything, because there are no sketches, there are like no technical views, so like front, side, back, explaining some mechanism and everything. The entire like thing is a little bit over the top, so the lettering is a bit too big, the lines are not really that clean, there are some issues with the perspective and everything. So those are those. Something like this is definitely much more appealing and much more interesting. But for example, in this one, you can see the exploration is great. You can see this, and this is just doubled information. So there is like no reason to post this if you have all this here already. What will be cool to actually see something that is summarizing this project, so an illustration of this guy doing something. So you have this illustration, and on the below you have how you got to that point. But at the beginning, don't really stress about making your portfolio like perfect, in a sense that you will plan it and you will only post your best artworks and everything, because it does not really work when, for example, you only have 20 followers, because not a lot of people will see like one out of 10 projects if there are not a lot of people following you, in a sense. I don't mean it in a like bad way, but when you are like starting out, I would say just post everything. Like if you do some sort of a studies, post it. If you do sketches, post it. If you finish a project, post it. If you do something that is finished but you don't really like it, but it's finished and it looks okay, post it. Because every single artwork will give you like a follower, 2 followers, 5 followers, and it will like in a time it will add up, and it will like after like a year it will build up to, for example, 500 followers, and then this will basically like make the whole thing moving. So yeah, and also at this stage you are not really sure who is like watching over the ArtStation or browsing through. So maybe there will be someone who is like, okay, I don't have like a huge budget, but I can assign some pieces, and I might need some work that is not like extremely polished and everything, and maybe you will get a gig like this. I would say at the beginning, if you are just starting out, just take whatever you can take. Of course, money is also important. Try to not work for free, but if there is a project that you know about that is like cool and where you might help, why not? My best commissions and my best artworks were done this way. I just like write to a guy who has a really cool project, and I was like, yo, I want to help on this. I just enjoy it. And because of this, I made some of the artworks that I never thought I would make, because this guy had crazy good descriptions of monsters and ideas and everything. So it was just like extremely cool project for me. A great way to practice like my skills and to practice talking with a client and to just make friends and whatnot. And now we are friends. And if I do anything, I usually send it to him so he can use it in his project in the Amphisbena RPG book. So for example, if I finish all those, I will send them to him to be like, yeah, just use them in your project, because I know he will enjoy those. So, and for how many pieces, that also really depends. There are some like people saying that, oh, you should have like a portfolio and only 10 pieces and everything. But yeah, that depends. If you are just like posting there to post, if you just want to share your artworks, I would say don't really worry about it that much. If you're applying to a studio, most likely you will be submitting your portfolio. I mean, like a PDF with everything. So a good thing to do is, if you are submitting to a studio where, for example, you want to work as a character artist, in your portfolio submit only characters and maybe some additional stuff. So for example, as I said, you are designing the character, you have like 50 sketches or whatever that led you to the solution, but also on the side you designed some props and stuff like this, just to do an illustration. So you put like 90% of effort into the character, but the rest is not like just done, it's also designed. So this way, most likely it will just look a bit better for the potential employee. But the most important thing, absolutely don't stress about getting work or job. Do what you have to do. Do it in a way that it will be like really like nice for you. Of course, it will be stressful to some degree after some point, because learning art is not an easy task. It is stressful as fuck at like really often, because you will like doubt yourself and whatnot and everything. And yeah, it's not easy. Just remember it, but also have fun with it. I remember the first time when I like something clicked in my brain and I was like, why am I stressing about like drawing monsters? It's like I'm having fun. It is supposed to be fun. I don't want to stress over it. And then I started to produce my best artworks, because I just kind of stop giving a shit. Gragasa z Ligi. Oh yeah, I have, yeah. Oh yeah, there is a Gragas from League of Legends. Gragas. I forgot about this character, absolutely. Oh yeah, this is actually a kind of good reference. Yeah, so basically body type wise, I'm getting to get something like this, but a little bit more ogreish and a little bit more disgusting. So, but yeah, true. It's similar. Even the pose is kind of similar, but mine has a mace. So yeah. I used to play a lot of League of Legends. Now I don't. So yeah. But going back to the portfolio and everything, if you are going to have fun with the stuff that you are doing, and if you are actually going to care on what you are doing, it will show. It will really be visible in the quality of the artworks that you are producing, because you can really easily see after some years of watching a lot of artworks and everything, when something is done with passion and with like fun, and when something is just done to be done. Yeah, you can kinda sense it without a lot of problems, I would say. Ah, yeah. Let me open the Facebook. some insects. Whoops. Let me. Whoa, it's working. Let me also save it. Yeah, those look really cool, especially this beetle looks really okay. This guy in here looks a bit wonky, but also the perspective seems to be a little bit off. But oh my god, the Photoshop is so fucking laggy. I need to turn off the browser. It kind of seems like this angle is okay, but this seems to be a little bit too quickly changing. Nah, it's okay. Might be just a case of for all these shapes. Yeah, it does look really fine. The only thing that kind of bothers me in this one is the tail, because if face is more or less like in here related in relation to the ground, then the body will go like this. Ass is in here. So if you would continue with this type of a perspective, then the tail, I believe, would go more like this. So a really, really small change. It's just like a matter of kind of redrawing the stuff, because in your case, it kind of looks like it's doing this, while I think it would look better if it would look like kind of like this. Even if it does this looks better. But other than that, those look really solid. One of the things that you could work on to make those even better is to make another pass over those. So for example, this is this layer, yes. So for example, you can make a white layer over those. So let's treat those like sketches and try to make a really clean line art. So for example, with this type of a guy, what I would start to do is to just like draw him and kinda maybe suggest some sort of a like overlapping and everything with like different like hatching and different strokes or whatever. What is important is to also showcase what is in front of something to just make the entire thing a little bit more readable. And you try to do it in some places, but it's a bit inconsistent. The general rule of thumb is what is in the shadow and what is overlapping something should be a bit thicker. So if the light is from the top, the line on the bottom will be a bit darker. The closer it is to us, the darker it will be and the thicker it will be. So for example, in here, when you have, for example, the eye, you can easily, for example, make this shadow a bit deeper, darker and everything to show that there is a distance between like this area and that area. So like, but this is just details to finish those. Construction wise, they really seem to be okay. Those type of lines like flowing around the shapes usually help to read the geometry much better. They don't necessarily need to be there, but you can use really like thin lines to showcase them. It's just like a nice thing to do. And since you have the light from the top, remember that those areas will also be in the shadow. So it's just to rework some of the stuff like this. And in here, this is like kind of above it, so you want to showcase the directions, the geometry. But this is just details. The rest looks really okay, because you can see, for example, now if I turn this off and remove this layer, this is already kind of readable in terms of like this area. Now this is flat, but if you add like some lines around it, and usually you will draw some sort of a texture on it anyway, this starts to showcase the geometry a bit better. But those look really solid, I would say. So yeah, also if anyone is like starting out and want to get better at drawing, doing this type of stuff is extremely important, because one, it will teach you how the things look like. Two, you will have better visual library, so you will know how things look like. And three, Later, if you will be drawing some sort of an armor or whatever, you can like reuse those shapes pretty much without any. You can just copy those shapes and it will be like really fine. But those look really okay. Aha, the giant is blue because of the way I color picked the colors. I kind of like the fact that this leg is brown. This is like accident, so. But I like that he has one leg with the leather. I'm keeping it. Yeah, I don't know why, but my PC today works extremely slow. I don't know, I might have installed something or I might have something on that I don't want to have on. But the computer today is acting weird. Was it lagging when I was talking or what? The Photoshop also is really laggy. Let me also check the settings. The whole PC is laggy. Stream. Is there like a advanced, above normal, normal, done? Yeah, I changed the preferences. Maybe this will help. Yeah, but as you can see, even the Photoshop is extremely laggy. So I think. I don't know what is response to. The memory is kinda clogged up. The cursor service is taking like 1 gigabyte. I have no idea what it is. Yeah, possibly just some updates, and now I need to just remove a lot of things. Google Chrome, I don't know why. Oh, okay, I turned off some extensions. Long story short, the things that you did are really, really good. Oh, okay. Yeah, let me go back to those. Long story short, the things that you did are really good. And definitely those are the things that you should just like try to do more. Just try to be sometimes a little bit more careful with, like, for example, the shadows, because this is just thicker. So the shadow will just be wider in this area. So yeah, with stuff like this, and remember about the line weight. So yeah, the things that are overlapping should be like darker and have a bit thicker line, and drawing some texture on it that will like guide the eye on the structure of it. So the lines that will follow the geometry. This is always a good idea. I don't know what was in the video, what was not in the video, but yeah, generally those are really okay. Those are really cool. Oh yeah, let me or just like recolor him quickly. I kind of wonder if I maybe should just like do this, but I want to paint, so I won't only do those. But I like how he looks like. Kinda don't mind him being blue. I think in the original he had like a brownish hue to his skin, but I kinda like him being like blue. It kinda fits to the purple guy, because the brown hue will be a little bit too uniform with everything, even with the background and whatnot. I won't feel this will like benefit him. He might be like a little bit more like beige or something like this with just like a hints of blue, something along those lines. But he can have his beard like really dark, and usually when you want to get like really dark colors, just go with like a deep blue. This is usually the best hue for the bird. Yeah, it might be the web, I don't know, I have no idea. Honestly, I have not the slightest clue what is not really working. Yeah, okay, I guess then I will end the stream here, because if it's lagging that much, it won't stop. I also think I need to clean my PC because it started to lag recently quite a lot. So yeah, and the initial sketch is done, so I guess on the next stream I will draw him and block the shapes, and I will try to figure him out later, and I will try to figure out the environment a bit more, because now it kinda is okay-ish, but it can easily be pushed forward. So even in this case, when I'm doing this guy, maybe he could have like the huts, the hoods that he is living in the background. Let me reduce the opacity so the value is a little bit more correct. Yeah, so there might be visible like the city that he lives in or whatever, or some sort of a rocks or rock